We saw what is the scope of marketing with the basic definitions to the scope which involves the goods, the services, the ideas, the information, the events, organizations, people, properties, places, and experiences. Then we saw what is the evolution of marketing, how the marketing has evolved. Now, we move ahead with the core concepts of marketing. Now, when we say these are the core concepts of marketing, these are the fundamentals or the basics. These are the core or the basic or the fundamental concepts of the marketing. Now, even after 2 years, okay, when you will be looking out for placements, when you will facing the interview, that time also you expect the question based upon this basic concepts of marketing. So please try to understand the concepts since they are useful in the long run. Now we use the term need. Okay, from marketing perspective, what is need? We say that when the customer or when the consumer is in need, he purchases a product, or we have the basic needs without which we cannot survive. Like we need a
need water.
Now here, people, we human beings, okay, we need food, we need air, we need water, we need clothing, shelter to survive. Okay, these are the basic needs. We cannot survive without these needs. Similarly, now people also have strong needs for recreation, for education, for entertainment, to seek solace for themselves. Now it depends upon the individual where the person finds his space. Maybe somebody is interested to read the books, somebody is interested to just go on a voyage, visit places, new places and explore. Many of them, they are foodies. Okay, they would like to try new dishes. So this inner core or desire of a person varies from one person to other person. Now, this needs takes the form of want when they are directed to a specific objects which might satisfy the need. Now, suppose maybe in the evening time, a person is hungry. Okay, I am hungry, I need something to eat. Okay, just to curb the hunger part, I need something. So that is a need. So whatever comes in front of me, I just grab it, I eat. That is what is the need part. I am hungry, but I am looking for a specific thing that will satisfy my want, that will satisfy my desire. So that is a want. When I am hungry, I can have anything. I can munch a vada pav, I can have dosa, idli, anything. But suppose I want a pizza from the Pizza Hut. Okay, I am hungry, but I need pizza from Pizza Hut. So that becomes a want, because here this need is directed to a specific object. Similarly, suppose I need any of the basic products, but of particular brand. Okay, maybe it may be a generic product also, like milk, which we use on a day-to-day basis, the consumable. Many of you might have observed that a one person enters, okay, a shop, the famous brand of Pune, the Chitre brand. Okay, so people look for that particular brand. They don't say that I need a packet of milk. They will say Chitre milk. So this is what is, this need is directed to specific object. They are specifying something with reference to the basic need. So we say it becomes a want. So whether you have understood the difference between need and a want. Now here want are shaped by many things, like the inner core or desire of a person. They may be shaped by the values imbibed in a person, the background or the culture may be one of the factor. These wants may be shaped by the society. Many a times, people have no control because they are a part of society. We just purchase a particular thing which we need, but it is directed towards the specific object. So this is the basic distinction between a need and a want. Now, day by day, okay, whatever was previously a want now is taking the shape of a need. Now here you can take an example of a student, maybe who has just completed 10th or 12th. Now the college is much far. I have taken the admission in the new college. The college is very far. I need a bike. I need a handset. Because of this COVID, even the school kids are using the handsets today because that is the need. Now, of what brand, of what specificity is again a different aspect. So this is the basic difference between a need and a want. Now I gave you this basic understanding in between this need and a want. Now how the marketers, they struggle or they strive to convert the need into want through maybe advertising, through maybe influential marketing, by imbibing certain values in the product through advertising. Okay, that is a job of the marketer. Now the next term is demand. What is demand then? Now demands are wants for specific products backed by the ability to pay. So here the basic need, suppose, is I am hungry. I want to eat something. No doubt I want a pizza, but I should have money also. I should have that much amount to, or the ability to pay to get that product. So we say that when this want is backed by an ability to pay, then we say it becomes a demand. And the marketers are looking for the demand creation. Now, because of this demand also, many services have come up. Okay. Especially for the high-end products. Many people want to vehicles, automobile sectors. Mercedes, we would like to ride Mercedes, we would like to ride some other vehicle, but there are only few who are willing and who are able to buy financially because of the financial aspect. Now, if we consider the demand part, home loans, okay, because of this factor of ability to pay, okay, the concepts of EMI came into existence, credit cards, okay, they came into existence, or loan availing facility, it came into existence because somewhere marketers thought that people don't have one shot money to pay. So to support this ability to pay have given rise to these services, different services to fulfill the demand. Now marketers, they do not create needs. Needs pre-exist marketers. The next is product or offering. Now, people satisfy their needs and wants with products. A product is any offering that can satisfy a need or a want of a person. We have seen the offerings by the marketers just now in the scope. Okay. The goods are there, the services are offered, experiences are offered, events are there, persons are there, places, properties, organizations, information, ideas. All of them, they are offered by the marketers. And we are the consumers who are consuming the offering according to our needs, according to our want, demand. We purchase these offerings, maybe goods, maybe services, maybe other things. Now here, there are many facets for this product or offering. As I said, basic need satisfaction is also there. Or if you go for a want, then you can take an example of a brand, a branded product, which is offered by the known source. Now, people have many association with a particular brand. It is in the minds of a customers or the consumers. A brand satisfies the need of a person or satisfy the want of that consumer, and hence he is closely associated with that offering. Now all companies today, because of this competitive market, strive hard to build the brand strength. The closer the product or the offering is towards the consumers or the customers, more is the benefit for the marketer. Now coming to the next part is exchange and transactions. Now we had seen this exchange in the basic definition of marketing. People buy the product and return, pay against it. Now, exchange is possible only when maybe a person can self-produce the product or a service. As when a person, maybe he hunts, he fishes or gathers something. A person can use a force to get something. and a person can beg. Or the person can offer a product or a service or money in exchange for something which he or she desires. Exchange is the basic core of marketing. It involves obtaining the desired product or the offering by giving something in return to the marketer. Now here it should satisfy 5 conditions. Okay. There should be at least 2 parties. Okay, both of them should have something to offer to each other. One has an offering, the other is in need of that offering. Then only the exchange can take place. Each party should be able to communicate and deliver what they have. Each party is free to accept or reject the exchange offer. And each party believes it is appropriate or desirable to deal with the other party. So these prerequisites should be satisfied for the exchange process to take place. Now, exchange is a process rather than an event. When there is an exchange, there is possibility of negotiation also, where both the parties, they mutually agree to satisfy certain terms. Now here a transaction, when we say it's a transaction, when the agreement in between both the parties is reached, then the transaction takes place. It's a trade of values between one or two or more parties. It involves several dimensions. It involves the things of value to be offered, the agreed upon conditions, the time of agreement, the place of agreement. Usually a legal system exists to support and enforce compliance on the part of the transactors. Now this transaction differs from transfer. So here this is about the exchange and transactions. I mean, marketing, we have seen that in day-to-day life, we exchange. We buy something, we give them the money. And even the transactions, they take place. Maybe you are physically visiting the shop and paying, or you are paying online. The transaction is taking place here. Now coming to the next part is customer value and satisfaction. Now, what is customer value here? Now here, whenever a customer visits any shop to purchase an offering, he always checks, okay, first and foremost thing about the product or the offering, what is being offered. It may be the product related to day-to-day needs or high-end product. Anything, what the customer will do, the customer just picks up the product, tries to just have a look. What is the size? What is the shape? Goes for labeling to understand. Okay, there is a price tag. So just somewhere he tries to compare this price tag with the maybe the ingredients or the benefit which the customer will get after purchasing that offering. So here what the buyer is doing, somewhere he is comparing the benefits to the cost ratio. How much I am paying and in return what I am getting. That is what this person is comparing. Whether this has happened with you, most of the time it happens with us. If we visit a simple kirana store also to buy any product like our shampoo or soap, anything, okay, we just have the brand unless and until we are aware about the brand and we are satisfied. Okay, if you are a first time user, then definitely you will look out for the labeling part. You will try to understand what is there, what is the benefit involved in it. Otherwise, we generally ask a person, what is the price? Okay, this is the price. Then you start comparing. And if you feel it is okay, you associate with the benefits. If you feel it is okay, then only you purchase that offering. Otherwise, if you feel many a times that the cost is more as compared to the benefit, in that case, what you will do? You'll just deny, you will move ahead. No, बहुत ही महंगा है. You will not go for purchasing that. Now here, when this benefits rise, okay, when a customer gets more benefit, or we can say value for money, okay, which is a term which we use, then we say that customer is satisfied. Many a times the expectations of the customers, okay, and the benefits which the customer is getting is more as compared to the expectations. Then the customer is delighted, the customer is very happy, and we say the customer is very much satisfied. Now here, if we see this first part of benefits, okay, what are the benefits? There are two aspects for these benefits. One thing is the functional benefit, and the other thing is the emotional benefit. Functional benefit is related to the benefit which a person gets from the product, using the product. Like suppose if you go for a shampoo, if you go for a soap, and you find that functionally it has benefited you, then we say the functional benefit is more. Now there is other part attached to it, that is the emotional benefit. Emotional benefit, see, many of us, we have different emotions which are related with the offering which we are using. Like going for a high-end, high-tag products. Okay, there the emotional benefits may be associated with your social part, or you can say the esteem part, or social status. Okay, I'm using a particular product, though it has a functional benefit, it also has an emotional benefit of having social status, and that's why I'm using it. That is the benefit which I get. That is one thing. Second thing, maybe I believe in certain concept, and that's why I use it. For example, you can take an example of the Ayurvedic concepts, the products which are based on the Ayurveda. You are a firm believer of Ayurveda, emotionally you are very much attached to those, and it gives you emotional benefit. You want to see somebody happy, and that's why you purchase that offering. You are emotionally very close to the person. Okay, now here if you see the products which will make the kids happy, okay, the functional benefit may be less and the emotional benefit is more many a times, but parents still purchase the offering to make the kids happy. Purchase of balloons, simple example. Okay, What is the functional benefit of balloon? Maybe a kid will play it for some time. What is the emotional benefit? The kid is very much happy. There are no boundaries. You cannot count it in monetary terms. So we say it's an emotional benefit. Now, today, most of the marketers are marketing the concepts based on this emotional benefits rather than functional benefits. Wherever the technology is playing a role, okay, the functional benefits plays a vital role. So whether you have understood the benefits part, the functional benefits and the emotional benefits. And many of the marketers have been successful in marketing the products by conveying the emotional benefits to the customers rather than the functional benefits. Maybe if you take an example of the advertisement with reference to insurance, maybe a simple ad of Cadbury's where emotional benefit has been uplifted as compared to the functional benefits. But where it is a technology driven product like automobile, like water purifiers, there they stress on the functional benefits. Now coming to the cost, whenever we purchase any offering, okay, we spend our money. Maybe you physically visit the store, maybe online you purchase. You have to pay the money. So it involves some monetary cost. That is the first and foremost thing. Second thing is the time cost. Time cost, you invest time. Suppose you want to purchase an offering, you want to purchase a television, you want to purchase a mobile handset, you visit the showroom, okay, that time is involved. The energy is there plus psychic cost is also there. That is physically you visit the store, you have a look at the different brand where the time, the energy and psychic cost is involved. Psychic cost is the your brain which actively participates, and psychologically you start comparing, you start analyzing. If there are 10 brands, okay, you just think 1 2 3 4 10 are there, you just cut short based upon your criteria. Maybe the costing, many a times the salesperson will ask you about the budget, what is your budget, okay, based upon your budget he will show you some offerings. Once he shows the offerings, maybe you will have a look at options, and again you have 2 3 options. Many a times a customer is confused among 2 3 options available. This involves the energy and the psychic cost. Even in online purchase also, these are the factors. So wherever the offering is at the higher end, like maybe a customer is looking out for purchasing a house, the furniture, maybe shopping of diamonds, jewelries, purchasing insurance, booking, maybe it's a vacation time, booking restaurants or hotels, stay, all this involves the psychic costs. The more the generic product, the less is the psychic cost involved. Now, how can the marketer increase the value of the customer offering? Now, here there are several ways. One thing is directly, the marketer can think of increasing the benefits. If the benefits are increased, ultimately the value would be increased and the customer would be satisfied. The other factor is reduce the cost. One can think of reducing the cost also. but it should not hamper the profits, because a marketer is in business to gain profits. Next is to raise the benefits and reduce the cost. Now, this is a bit difficult for the marketers. It's challenging also. But when the product is in the growth stage and a marketer would like to penetrate into the market and grab the market share, this is a very good mantra of raising the benefits and reducing the cost. Also, a marketer can raise benefits more as compared to rise in cost. That is, rise in cost also, rise in benefit also, but rise in benefit is more as compared to the cost. Then the value will be increased automatically. Lower benefits by less than the reduction in cost. Even this is possible. Now, whenever a customer is choosing between two value offerings, okay, 1 and 2, he will examine the ratio of this benefits to cost, and wherever he will find the benefits is more, that offering will be favored by the customer. He will purchase that product only. You understood this concept of customer value and satisfaction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now here, when we say that the customer is satisfied, that means how happy the satisfied customer is. Suppose you visit a particular restaurant, you like the physical entity part, that is the ambience. Okay, the food is good. The people provide you prompt services. They are very polite. Maybe a Darban is there who will welcome you, bowing his head. Maybe somebody greets you. He comes, the manager, he greets you at this doorstep when you just enter. You are offered a seat. There is no noise. Everything is very fine, cool, the pleasant environment. Naturally, you will like that place. You will like to dine in. And then when you are satisfied, okay, you are satisfied with the food equality, you are satisfied with the environmental factors. There is a physical facility over there, as well as the service part, that is the process or the people over there. Naturally, maybe when you meet your friend or other, those who will ask you for an opinion, you will be an opinion maker for them. You will influence by word of mouth publicity. You will spread the positivity about that particular restaurant. Same is the case maybe when you are purchasing automobile, when you are purchasing insurance, when you are availing the educational facilities, anywhere, word of mouth publicity plays a very vital role. That's why today the marketers are striving hard to retain the customer by customer satisfaction. Today, that's why we have the CRM concept, customer relationship management. Now, here you can see one triangle with reference to this customer satisfaction as well as the customer performance indicators. Now, here, customer, as I had just now discussed the example of a restaurant, okay, customer enters with certain expectations. Maybe you are availing services, maybe you are availing any product, anything. When the customer purchases an offering, he has certain expectations. Now, if the expectations meet the benefits given by the offerings, then it is okay. If it exceeds the customer expectations, the customer is very happy, very much delighted, and above delightment, if it is there, then the customer is amazed. Such type of customers, those who find that their expectations are exceeded by the product offering, these customers are the loyal customers. If the marketer is able to fulfill the needs by meeting the expectations of the customer, or we can say exceeding the customer expectations, then these customers will not switch to the competitors. They will be the loyal customers. Now, if you visit the retail outlets, okay, many times you will find that when in the billing section, initially maybe when you are visited, they ask you a question whether you are visiting it for the first time. If you say yes, then they take your details. What is your phone number, your name, everything. Then they store this data. Okay. Next time if you go, they will just introduce you about the loyalty points or loyalty checks. Even the banks are offering this. Whether you have come across such type of experience. So certain points are there which are given to the customers for being loyal with the marketer. Maybe in cash or kind. These are carried forward. Customer feedback plays a very important role here. If you get the positive feedback, okay, that means you have a satisfied customer. There is a possibility of this customer being converted to the loyal customers. Today, it's an era of customization, individualization, where the big data has come into picture, and individually, okay, the things are marketed. Like maybe suppose if you visit a jeweler shop, if you visit a retail outlet, they have your phone number. They will message you on your birthdays. They will greet you. They will send you about any new offerings available, discounts available. Individually on your mobile, you will get the message. Why they are taking this into consideration? So that they can maintain the loyalty. Now, I spoke about the customer delight already. Now, we have a part, maybe in finance ahead, or in your specialization of EPM next year. That is the concept of balance scorecard. Okay. Now, here we will not go into the details of this balance scorecard. It is one of the key performance indicators, that is measurement. Okay. It is one of the tools to measure the performance of the organization or marketer. Now here if you see in this figure of balance scorecard, there is financial aspect, there is internal processes, there is innovation part. Okay, leave rest about that. There is one part that is customers. And this is very important from the marketer's perspective. How do the customers perceive the organization? In what way? Whether they are positive, whether they are negative, whether they are delighted, they are loyal, whether they give the positive feedback, all is taken into consideration because it becomes one of the important factor for the key performance measurement, indicator measurement, how the organization is performing. Now, I already spoke about customer loyalty, that how the customer is devoted to a company. Why a customer should get devoted? Unless and until he is satisfied, he feels that the company is taking care, the marketer is taking care, a customer will not be loyal. A customer will not turn to the particular organization to avail the services. You might have come across both the experiences. Maybe for some service part of the offerings, you might have found that the response was very positive and overwhelming. Well, against this, there might be other service provider where they fail to meet your expectations, isn't it? Whether you have come across such type of experience. Okay. Now we move ahead with the other core concept, that is market spaces. Now this deals with the digital marketing. Okay. The new concept in this decade, and because of this COVID pandemic, okay, which has forced or pushed everybody to enter into the digital mode. Today we are learning through this digital mode on the Zoom platform. Even the marketers are not left out. Okay. Many of them, they have seen as a boon or an opportunity to reach to the customers. Now here the challenge lies for the marketers in strategizing how they reach the customers, how close they go to the customers. Now, usually, traditionally, see, marketplaces, this is the traditional one, isn't it? Where people used to go right from the small village to today's urban Pune or a place like Mumbai. Everywhere you will find the streets with the shops and people shopping. People, many of them, they have the time also. They have the urge also, desire also to just be on the roaming shopping spree. They like to spend. Many of them, because of the need, they visit the physical outlet. Okay, that is what traditionally we used to do. But today, in this virtual world, these ICT tools, information communication tools, okay, information communication technology. Maybe you have your laptops handy, you have your mobile handsets. Through that, you, with the interface, okay, of the internet, the gap between the customer and the marketer is minimized. You meet at the virtual marketplace. Now, many of you might have shopped on Amazon, isn't it? What is an Amazon? It's a virtual marketplace where the people visit. They try to browse the offerings. They try to check what are the products available, what are the brands available. Now here, the offering should be attractive. It should be able to grab the attention of the customers. When you are just browsing, okay, on eBay or on Quikr or on Amazon or Myntra, okay, the offering should be designed in such a way that it should be catchy, it should be attractive, the prices should be there, the details of the offering should be mentioned. It's not just physically, designing part is important. Also the content, what is shown, plays a important part. So virtual marketplace is the space which is taken by this marketer to market their offerings. Maybe they may have their individual websites. Maybe they have the tie-ups with the organizations like Amazon. which act as an interface between the marketer and the customers. So where they connect both of them together. So this is about the market spaces. Now we move to the next part, that is relationships and networks. Now we spoke about the exchange and the transaction part. Okay. Now transaction marketing is a part of larger idea called relationship marketing. Now relationship marketing rests on the fundamentals of building long-term mutually satisfying relations with the key parties. Now, what are the key parties in the business? They are the customers. At the forward linkages, there are the customers. At the backward linkages, there are the suppliers. In between, there are distributors, the dealers, the intermediaries. So, in order to retain long-term preference and sustaining business, the relationship building has to be there. The marketers have to keep their promises and deliver high quality products or services at whatever prices they have quoted over the time. They have to take up the social ties, the economic ties, the technology ahead, and try to inculcate all this in the product offering. Now, most of the marketers, the transactions, one time decided and negotiated, they see to it that in future also the same thing is maintained and it becomes a matter of daily routine. And the ultimate outcome of this strategy is relationship building or relationship marketing, which as an asset called network marketing. Now, a marketing network consists of the company and its supporting stakeholders, the customers, the employees, the suppliers, the retailers, ad agencies, the research and development personals, with whom it has built mutually profitable business relationships. Now here the competition is not usually between the organizations. It is between these marketing networks. The more better the network, the more better is the connect in the business. Especially in the service industries, if you see, you will feel this network marketing works more. If you are into event management, if you are into an insurance business, if you are into banking, where they sell the products, the financial products, this networking, building this networking is a challenge. But once done, nothing like it. Sky is the limit for the organization. Now coming to the next part is marketing channels. Now, to reach to the desired consumer or the customer, marketer has to reach the consumer. That is, they have to offer, they have to see to it that the goods are moved from the producer to the consumer physically. Now here, online ordering is okay, fine. Online booking, online payment is okay. But making the goods reach to the end consumer is the responsibility through the marketing channel which the company takes care of. Now, raw materials, if you see this figure, okay, of supply chain, the next part, The raw material is transferred to through the supplier to the manufacturer. The manufacturer manufactures the goods in bulk, which are again moved to the distributor through logistics, from distributor to the retailers, and from retailers to the consumer. Now here this circle, if you see, there is one part that is demand. So based upon the demand, these things revolve. Everything revolves around the demand and demand creation part. So marketing channels as well as the supply chain go hand in hand many a times. Supply chain is itself a very broader concept. It is one of the emerged as a specialized branch. In your from your second semester, you will have specializations where you have operations and supply chain management. So there in detail, you will have all this. Now, as far as the channels are considered, okay, it becomes the responsibility of the manufacturer to make the goods available from the producer to the consumer. Now, many of the companies, they go for direct selling to consumers, from producer direct to the consumers. If you see the localites, okay, nowadays because of the intermediary options available, intermediary options, like you have Zomato, you have Dunzo app, okay, which is much more useful. They directly send the goods from the producer to the consumer, from the marketer to the consumer. Or you may have the traditional means like from producer to wholesaler to retailer to consumer, or from producer to the retailer to the consumer. So there are different options available. Now, the distribution channels display or deliver the physical product or services to the buyer or the user. These are related with the physical distribution of the goods or the services. Now, they include the warehouses, they include the transportation, the vehicles, various trade channels. There are many transactions also involved here. Now, many a times, as far as designing this channel decision is there, the marketers, they face the challenges here. More than one option also they use. Now, if we see the next part, that is the supply chain. These marketing channels connect the marketer to the target buyer. And the supply chain describes the longer channel stretching from raw material to components to the final products that are carried to the final consumers. Now, here it depends upon the type of product category, the designing of the supply chain. Now, any doubts up till here in core concepts? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts, or whether you have understood everything? So today I will stop here. We will continue in the next session.